Hello darlings, it's Melissa, your Learning Technologies trainer. This video is a part of a series on Problem of the Day, a high-impact instructional strategy to help grow your students as problem solvers. If you're joining us here from YouTube, scroll down to the description box to see the other videos in the series. And while you're here, go ahead and press like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can be notified of all of our upcoming content. And if you're joining us audio only and PD to go, then check the listings for the other audio in this series. All right, let's get to learning. Hello darlings, it's Melissa, Learning Technologies trainer, here to talk about how to use Peardeck, which you know is one of my absolute favorite applications, with your problem of the day. If you're joining us from YouTube, first of all, go ahead and like, subscribe, click that bell so you can be notified of this content. But I also want to make sure that I'm clear that these particular resources you will see today are designed for CPS math teachers, CPS being Cincinnati Public Schools. However, a problem of the day cycle is a high impact instructional practice, so I definitely encourage you to stick around and see how you can use the practice. You just may not have access to the resources. Now, there will be another video on how to take any problem and turn it into a problem of the day cycle. So check the description box for that video. So just because you don't have access to these particular resources, you can still use this strategy. So stick around. Since our PODs are in Google Slides, and I definitely encourage you to use Google Slides to create your POD cycles, hosting them in Peardeck is so super easy. That's the great thing about Google Slides and Peardeck. You do something one time, you can use it in multiple different ways. With them being in Google Slides, you can embed them into your learning management system like Schoology. You can host them on Peardeck. If you're a Nearpod user, you can also host them with Nearpod. Possibilities are endless. But for this particular video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to take your PODs that are in Google Slides and put them in Peardeck. Let's do it. First, let me go to our CPS Mathematics site and find our PODs. On the main page, scroll down until you see the quick access tiles and find the one that says CPS Problem of the Day. There are tons of resources available on our CPS Problem of the Day subpage, but we'll get to those in another video. For now, I'm going to go into the Google Drive to access the already created resources. Once in Google Drive, choose your grade, your standard, and your problem. Once you've chosen your problem, make sure that you make a copy of the entire presentation so that you're able to edit. Now that we have our copy, we're ready to put on some Peardeck features. So click on your Peardeck add-on. If this isn't already showing for you, you could go to add-ons and search for it. I use Peardeck so much that it's already going to come up. Now that my Peardeck sidebar is active, I can choose how I want to ask students questions. You can keep some slides with no features at all. Since students don't have to do anything on this page with the standard, I'm not going to put any Peardeck features on there. For part A, I want my students to draw an area model. So I am going to give them the option to draw in Peardeck. I'm going to press my draw circle and let Peardeck do its thing. I know that when I present this for students, they're going to be given the tools to draw because I have my footer here with my Peardeck icon that tells the students to draw. Let's look at the next slide. For this part of the problem, my students are being asked to find a missing number. I could ask them to draw so that they can put the number in that box. I could ask them to just type in the number. I could give them a choice of which number. The options are absolutely endless depending on what you want to do with your students. I'm going to press number because I want my students to work their problems out on paper and then just put their final answer in Peardeck. Our last slide in our POD cycle is the answer reveal. So it isn't necessarily something students have to do. However, I would like to know how they feel about the process of drawing an area model to multiply. So I'm going to go to our template library and look for a reflection or exit ticket slide. I love this slide where students pretend a friend wasn't in class and explain the day's lesson. So I'm going to click that so that it adds it to my slide deck. Once it's inside of my slide deck, then I can edit it a bit because I want my students to know exactly what I'm asking. So instead of saying explain the lesson, I'm going to ask them to explain how to multiply multi-digit numbers using the area model. And that's it. It is just that easy. All my Peardeck features are in there and I'm ready to start my lesson. Thanks again for stopping by and learning with me how to use Peardeck in your POD cycles. This video is part of a series on how to effectively use the PODs, so definitely check that description box to see all the other videos in this series. And until we meet again, always keep growing.